So I didn't talk about the abuse until my 13-year-old best friend was sexually assaulted, and then I told my mom. And of course I was called a liar, so the abuse continued. And my mom would probably tell you all sorts of stuff was wrong with me, and she would tell you that I was a liar and all kinds of stuff. But when I was going to the people when I was young for help, I don't think that they really knew that I was getting abused.
Mm-hmm. Where did you grow up? What city did you grow up in?
When I was growing up, I went to 8 schools in 7 years, from kindergarten to 7th grade, and we were constantly moving. And I was born in Connecticut and lived in New York City and Colorado, and by the time I was 2 years old, I'd lived all over the place and moved in with my grandfather in the United States Embassy. So I have because I was always just given to babysitters and nannies. Luckily for me, though, I didn't have cold British nannies. I had nannies from South and Central America that would caress me from head to toe and shower me in love and affection. And I never had that from my mother, and I had to question every touch from my grandfather. So the reason I tell you this is because it really impacted me deeply in a positive way to have that kind of love and affection when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm. And so, okay, how far did you go in school, Lindsay?
I graduated from high school because my teachers liked me. But if they didn't like me, I wouldn't have graduated, because even though all I had to do was try a little and I would have got straight A's, I didn't like school and I didn't see the point of it. So I didn't care if I graduated. And I thought college was just as stupid. And I never thought that work was for me. So I just became a sugar baby and got paid $8,000 to $14,000 a month to have men who made me feel the way my grandfather felt, with my skin crawling. Except this time, I made it so they paid me and they were submissive to me and I was dominant to them. So it was kind of like the roles switched, and then I became the abuser.
Okay. Okay, and are you working now?
No, I'm sober from market economy because I became a hypnotherapist and a yoga instructor and a massage therapist. And I realized that there's sexual harassment and there is sex work everywhere. And I decided that market economy is gross and that it's not real and that it's created to enslave humanity and that I don't consent to it and that I'm not for sale and I'm not a sellout. So then I became Daisy the Venice Healer, and I created her because she's a magical light being and she's here to awaken and unite humanity. That's her meaning and purpose. And her awakening and uniting humanity means that she tells the humans that they have a meaning and purpose they have to do, and that we're not supposed to do market economy, that we're just supposed to do our heart's desire and be in balance with love, God, and nature.
Okay. So Daisy, or Lindsay, Daisy, have you been hospitalized for psychiatric reasons ever?
I've been hospitalized for psych stuff many times.
Okay. When was the last time?
The last time was in the last 2 years, and I believe it was because I was topless and doing a speech, and they didn't think that I should have my shirt off. and show my, they didn't think I should show my nipples.
Okay. Have you been on medications in the past?
No.
No? Okay. None?
Correct.
Okay. And why is that? Because you didn't want to take them? Did people recommend them? Nobody recommended them? What happened?
They said that so my first evaluation said that I might be borderline personality. Then my evaluations kept saying PTSD, and that I did a lot of work on myself. Because before, the way I used to look at men, I think I was kind of like borderline. And now I do believe that it's because of my PTSD. But they said that there's no medication for borderline personality, and they said that there's no medication for PTSD, that I should do yoga and get lots of sleep and have good diet. So I do all the stuff that they say.
Okay.
And it does help. And I think more support, like what I'm doing with Step Up, will also help me benefit too, because I definitely need a deeper level of care. I think everyone agrees.
So what's the plan with Step Up? What's Step Up going to help you with?
Step Up is going to help me be able to stay on track, and I have an advocate who helps me get to all my appointments, and my therapist with Step Up is going to help me be able to have direction and how to heal my trauma, and be able to live day to day with more life enriching strategies to meet my needs than I've been using. And many of my needs that have not been getting met, like because I have food scarcity and not just my trauma and needing therapies and stuff, but just like having the accountability and the help of having someone on site who I could talk to, and having caseworkers here all the time, like that level of support really, really benefits me right now because of the high needs that I have compared to someone who's not going through what I'm going through. And I'm hoping that Step Up can get me to the place where I will be able to have contact with my children. I will be able to handle my big emotions and not have outbursts and not do things that create misunderstandings and scare people. And I will be able to make choices that will be easier for others to respond to me and to relate to me, and less alienating, so that I don't have to worry about getting banned from yoga studios, because I've been banned from all the yoga studios on the west side. And I would like to be able to do things like teach at those yoga studios, and be able to do things like just be helpful and more relational.
Okay. Okay. Prior to this, when did you last see a psychiatrist?
Probably 2 years ago.
And where was that? In what context was that?
I saw them, I've had mental health evaluations since then, so I've seen psychiatrists for that. The court had me see a psychiatrist probably 6 months ago. But when I saw one in this setting, where I'm just getting evaluated and seeing, seeing if there's anything that could benefit me or anything else I could do, I'd say 2 years, and it was right around when they were about to terminate the rights of my kids, and I was going through a really difficult time.
Okay, so your goals with Step Up are to be able to have contact with your children, to be able to better manage your emotions so you don't get banned. What other goals?
Could you just say better manage my emotions, and then, because we don't want to write down what we don't want, like better. How about?
I think you said. Go ahead.
How about like so I can, connect deeper and continue to be a member of the places I like to go.
Okay.
Yeah, because they said I can't be a member if in fact, I don't even know what I did because they won't tell me.
They won't tell you. Okay. Okay. So.
But you know how I said people misunderstand? Like, sometimes because I just am having big emotions, like my voice might do something and they might be like, whoa, what's she doing? And I won't even know that they had that feeling about me, you know? So.
You mentioned you have kids. How many?
I have 3 kids. And
how old are they?
They are 8, 14, and 16.
Okay, and who are they with now?
My daughter was adopted by Nico and Pavi Flores, and they have a son, Max. And they are a wonderful family who taught my daughter 4 languages, and they live close to my mom, who adopted my 2 boys. They're 14 and 16, and I believe that they see each other every weekend, and I would love to repair the relationship so that I could co-parent and be able to have a relationship with my kids.
Got it. So your mom adopted you 2 older boys?
Yeah.
Okay. And where are they living now?
They're in Huntington Beach.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So, well, I guess the question is, just in terms of, my role at Step Up is really just the medication piece of things. And can you hang up for 1 second, Lindsay? Give me 1 second here. So my role at Step Up, I'm glad you're going to be seeing a therapist and working on all these things. My role is really the medication piece of things. That's just how it's structured. So I guess I'm interested in whether there are symptoms that you're having that medication might be helpful for. If there's anything you're experiencing that you feel like medication might be kind of a target for medication.
No, because I don't really think that medication helps with what I got, because I think that it's trauma and creating an environment with more stability and making sure that my needs are being met, and yeah, I think that it's more like making like changes in my behavior and making changes in my lifestyle.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. I think the question is, and you're right, there's no specific medication for things like borderline personality disorder. But that being said, there's plenty of psychopharmacology being used for people with borderline, for the emotional challenges that people with borderline personality have. So sometimes they get depressed. Sometimes it's, difficulty. They have mood reactivity with impulsivity, things like that. So that's where medication can come in helpful. So I just
my brain doesn't think like that. My brain, like, if I feel a certain way, if I'm feeling like upset, then I go for a skateboard ride, or I call a friend, or I go to hot yoga class, or I, go help somebody. And and also I know that if I eat refined sugar, or if I don't get enough sleep. Like, I need to pay attention to those things. The pills, I don't know. That's why I haven't ever taken it. I just wanted to make sure that I was like, I just wanted because you guys have been so helpful so far. I just wanted to make sure I covered all my bases and talked to everyone.
Got it. Okay. So, okay. Well, maybe we should do this. Let me actually, I think there's probably a little bit more information I can give you. Let's see. Do you have any medical problems? Anything that you take other medication for?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So, and then does anyone in your family see a psychiatrist?
I think my mom does. She
Okay.
used to be on, like, lithium. But, like I said, we have a lot of trauma in our family.
Mm-hmm.
So, growing up, I had to listen to my mom talk about suicide, being, like, wanting to end things and send us away. She's gotten better over the years, but yeah, I mean, we got a lot of trauma in my family.
Okay, sorry, I'm just taking some notes here.
Also, I'm an addict, so, I'm sober, so I try
From
not to take... Well, I'm sober, so I don't
From
from drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
So,
how long have you been sober?
For 6.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, so I try to stay away from the mind and mood altering stuff. So even prescription drugs, like I don't take pain medication or stuff like that. I had butt implants and I had to take muscle relaxers because if your muscles tighten while you're healing, it can mess up, you want it to heal well. And I didn't even like doing that, but I had to do it because I wanted my surgery to turn out well. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of
okay.
About.
Okay. How did you get sober?
I went to drug and alcohol treatment program for 1.5 years, as well as Alcoholics Anonymous meetings and Sex and Love Addicts and Codependents Anonymous and Al-Anon, and I went to 2 to 4 meetings a day for many years, and then I kind of graduated to Course in Miracles, and then now I go to nonviolent communication groups, and so recovery has been a big part of my life, and working a program means that I go to fellowships where people talk about recovery and do recovery, and that's, the program's been a big part of my life since the beginning of my sobriety.
Question, I'm shifting gears a little bit. So so you mentioned that you're currently homeless, and I would imagine getting housing is a part of what Step Up's hoping to help you with?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
I was at the homeless shelter, but we had a misunderstanding, and they kicked me out.
And you don't know what that was about?
Yeah, so I get up at I go to bed early, 5 or 6 o'clock at night. I go to bed super early, and then I get up early, 3 or 4 in the morning. And we had a misunderstanding because I stayed out Saturday and Sunday night, and I asked for a pass, and because I left so early Friday morning, or in the morning, they're like, oh no, you didn't stay here that night, and they're like, not, it's just the thing. So I got kicked out because of that, even though I'm pretty institutionalized, and when I'm in a program, because people get to know who I am, and then, it's like we could work on my emotions and stuff together. I do really well in that setting, but for some reason, because of that little technicality, they kicked me out of the shelter. And I told them, I was like, I got nowhere to go. If you think I'm gonna go like stay with a guy, I don't do that. I'm just gonna go back to the beach where I was before I came here. And my friend offered to get me a van to stay in, but it's actually safer for me to sleep at the beach than to sleep in a van. So.
Okay. So so that's a piece of it. And then, do you get SSI or anything?
I'm gonna get disability, and they put in for it, and right now I live off of $220 a month general relief and food stamps, and if typically that's actually enough to meet my needs, and I might run out of, I usually run out of money for food, but I'm able to like wait. Like I couldn't buy conditioner for 2 weeks, and I couldn't wash my hair for a couple weeks. I'm okay going without my needs like that. But I can't really go without food. So sometimes I steal food at Whole Foods, and we have like an understanding that sometimes I just don't have money. So, but I would like to not have to steal.
Who has an understanding?
Me and Whole Foods.
Do they know that?
Yep.
What do they do?
Because I do speeches there sometimes, and at the end of my speeches, sometimes I'll like hold up a green juice or whatever, and I go, and then they'll like fist bump me. And so you could Google me, Daisy the Venice Healer. I'm pretty famous for my work.
Okay.
So yeah, so when I go in there, it's like they're like, Daisy. So.
Okay. Okay. Well, listen. Hold on one second. Okay, so who is your team at Step Up?
My team is Jennifer Torres. She is my case manager, and my team is also Celia. She is my therapist, and my team is also Jennifer Torres is supervisor, and Crystal, who's the manager here at the place I live, and Mary Klein.
Wait, I'm confused. You said you were homeless and now you live someplace. What am I missing?
Step Up is the place that I'm gonna move into.
Soon?
Yeah, I'm gonna be living in apartment 311.
Oh, when is that going to happen?
Yeah, so Crystal's the manager here, and they said I'm gonna move in next week.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good news, right?
Yeah. But until then, I'm at the beach. But yeah, that's what I meant. The place that I'm going to live. And then also Mary Klein. She's my advocate.
Mary Klein. Okay.
I'm also here right now talking to you here. So that's why I said it like that.
I see. Okay. So 5 years, but are you moving into 2nd Street or which one?
Yeah. Jennifer Torres was here with me. She just left.
Okay.
She was here in the beginning of the call.
I see. Okay. Got it. Okay. Well, I think since we are not interested in medication, I would like to check in with your team and see, what I guess the role of psychiatry is in your treatment plan,
Yay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Mary Klein's my advocate, so her and my therapist and my case manager, they all know how committed I am, so I would definitely touch base with them.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. I'll do that. So I think that maybe we don't need to set up a follow-up just yet. We'll take it as it goes, and I'll check in with your team and kind of see what your needs are moving forward and how I can help. Okay?
That's awesome. I really appreciate you. And you let me know how I could support also. How
Thank
I could
you.
contribute.
I appreciate that.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, my dear.
And
okay,
if I don't,
good.
then take care. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.